Sister Andrea Brunette is in a place to be. How you doing, Senate?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
So you have something to show us today?
Yes, I went on to the product line and I bought 3 shirts and I just wanted to show you all what I got.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, so this is the first one. This is the
Ah, the Onk shirt.
the Ankh shirt. I got it in black and gold, but I think I'm gonna go and get a blue one too.
All right.
Okay, so that's the first one.
All
And
right.
then
The Ma'at. Oh, it looks
this
good in
I don't
blue.
yeah,
All
I don't know.
right.
Yeah, this is the Ma'at one.
Oh, that's
I
what's
don't know if you
up.
can see.
Yeah, we see it. We
I'm
see
trying.
it.
Can you see it?
Nice bright
And
color.
yeah, I love this. I love this color. I love it. And then the piece de la resistance is my favorite
I'm the best to
one.
be
I'm
tonight.
the best of me tonight. Yeah.
That's what's up. I'm the
There's
best
that
to
on
be
the sleeve
tonight.
too.
Even on the sleeve.
Tonight.
All right.
Even on the
Tonight.
sleeve. I had it. Yeah,
All
this
right.
is this is the lick right here. So I'll be wearing that on
Oh,
your next live. I will have this one on.
all right. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. All right.
So
Well,
that's
thank you.
that's the 3 ones I got.
Thank you very
Love
much
them.
for your support. It's appreciated. I'm glad that you like the products.
You're welcome. You're
All
welcome.
right.
And we'll see you on the next live stream.
All right. See you soon, sister.
Okay, I hope you can see this. Civilization started with agriculture. Custom made shirt from my aunt forever, Shaka Indugu. Civilization started with agriculture. This is Curse of Hammurabi, Shaka Indugu, who I support. Civilization started with agriculture. Because
All right. Hey, brother Donnie Williams. See, you got your mail.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, Shaka? I was gonna do just I know it's a serious topic, but I was gonna do a little
Oh, no, no. I appreciate that, bro. I'm
unboxing.
glad.
So
I'm glad. Yeah, yeah. Live
yeah.
unboxing. Bro, you don't mind if I use this excerpt, like as a clip, my
No,
intro?
no,
Oh,
it's all
thank you.
good.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
for those who wonder, I'm gonna share the link. All right, that's lovely.
Yeah, I got the Heather Gray. Oh man, yeah,
Oh, you got the
I
Kemet
didn't
shirt as well. Okay.
yeah. I didn't know it had that on the back
In the
though.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's what's up,
That's
man.
lovely. Oh, thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah. So just letting you know, just coming through, showing some support real quick, man. I'm about to get back into this Netflix film. So um, just wanted to say peace, man, and thanks.
Yeah, thanks a lot, brother.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Hey, this is my unboxing video that I'm doing for the product I bought from my Forever's channel. I bought the coffee mug, and here it is. Sorry there's a glare from the screen, but lots of bold, crisp, beautiful colors, inside and out, high quality ceramic. I absolutely love it. So y'all go check out his website. It's got a lot of fun, fresh designs. And cheers to you, Shaka, and all of your endeavors. Peace.
Our sister RP is in the place to be. What's up, sister?
Et Sin E. How you doing?
Et Senate E. I'm doing Nefer.
Oh, great, great. Um, well, I got it today. I was thinking it was coming from France, but then I did the tracking and it was outside actually when I went to check, and here it is.
Oh, that's what's up. It's just like my hat. That's what's up. Let me,
Yeah,
let me do the solo layout. There it is, brothers and sisters. That's
yeah.
what's up.
I really like this. Yeah, so I have an after school program that I help facilitate. And I'm going to wear this because we're going to start talking about coding. So I'm going to
Okay.
use this as an introduction because this is a code. It's
Mm,
ancient code, but it's still a code. And then we're going to be able to, demonstrate. I'll be able to demonstrate to them the meanings inside each of the, glyphs and stuff. So, but yeah, I was looking online and I was like, this is actually like really good designs. you know. So as soon as I get some more, you know, extra money, I'm gonna get the matching hat, and I want to get a Ma'at shirt. But I really like the Kemet one.
Okay. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Good. Hotep Senu Hena Senu Tir and Isha Kanuku Kemet. I hope you're doing well. Hold on. The title of this live stream is Willie D ask questions about migrants. I have some answers. I wrote some answers. I didn't write. I have all the answers. Okay, so let me first put my fair use disclaimer. And I think I'm going to copy and paste it so I can use it in the future. And it all fits good. So let me add this. Where would I put it? I guess here. There we do. So I have that handy. Okay. Now take advantage, because in the chat anybody can participate right now. I don't really have time to make it members only, because after this one I will do another one which will be brief, and then 4 p.m. ESC we're going to get to a serious topic. I have shared it in my timeline, but I have not shared this live stream, just like I'm not planning on sharing the next live stream. Fair use disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. So this is what happened earlier. I have that video that came in my feed. That one there. You can see the title is Unruly Migrants in New York Try to Jump Brother. Migrants is in capital letters, jump is in capital letters. And that was 3 weeks ago, however, but I just saw it in my feed today, you see. Now it has 165,000 views, so it's doing good. I think it has a lot of subscribers. I think it's reaching 1 million, actually. Yeah, it has 872,000 subscribers, so it's a very popular channel. Now, for those who don't know, Willie D is a member of the rap group Ghetto Boys. Okay, that being said, I was like, oh, damn, here we go again. Because the last time I addressed Willie D, that's what he said. Where is it? There it is.
I'm going to tell you something else, fam. You know, a lot of these people, these black people who ain't from the U.S., y'all need to start speaking on our shit for real. Because a lot of y'all be out of pocket. Y'all love speaking on our stuff, but y'all don't hear us speaking on y'all thing. Y'all love coming over here, running your mouth about what's going on in the U.S., but you ain't helping. You like to talk down, or you like to try to press your ideologies, your traditions on us. Man, we dealing with a whole different animal over here.
So for the record, for those who are interested, I've shared the link where I made some commentary about his statements. You see, it was not taken out of context. You can just go and verify. So if he has that stance, you know, we have an FBA movement, and several people have that stance. So people are allowed; they have the right to have that stance. As xenophobic as it may seem, I like when people are upfront, you know. But I don't like among some so-called Pan-Africans that, you know, they will talk that, you know, Mama Africa, we all in this together, Black brotherhood worldwide. And then one day you say one thing they don't like, and then they're going to bring up the fact that you don't live where they live, and they feel like where they live is just more important. So you are inferior, and your opinion is inferior. Your stance is inferior. You are inferior, you know. So that being said, just going to go through. Dang, let's go back to the video. It's a very short video. It was a live, and then I got that 3 weeks. No, it was just a video upload. It was not a live stream. 3 weeks ago. There we go. There's an ad. I wait for the ad to go. There it is. So let's review. How do you love me, Fro? She's in the place to be.
Why does America spend billions of dollars trying to make migrants comfortable? You know, there's an old saying, charity starts at home. Perhaps America did not get the memo, because while it's doing everything it can to make these migrants comfortable, it does nothing to address the problem right here in America.
Now, I'm not here to defend the United States of America. It's not my country. It's not my citizenship. I'm not a U.S. national. I don't think that America does nothing for people who need help, financial help, welfare, accommodation, you know, food. But for those who don't know, there's a United Nations, you know, there's some convention, the Geneva Convention, and they have some sort of treaties and agreements. So when people go to a country and they seek asylum, those people who have signed and have agreed, then they're supposed to process the asylum request. You see, so somebody leaves this country for many different reasons. It may be because of political issues, religious issues, ethnic or tribal issues, maybe because of war, maybe because of a person's sexual orientation, or maybe a conflict, a property dispute. It may be somebody from the government that persecuted a person or took possession of his property, or some kidnap a person or threatened to kidnap a person or kill a person. Some journalists may have covered some scandal, some corruption, and then some politicians will threaten or send people to threaten the person. There's so many different reasons why people may flee their country. You see, they may flee just because of economic reason. They may say, well, no, I was not persecuted, but in my country, I was not able to work and take care of my family. So, I decided to leave in order to find a better life and support my family. There's countless of reasons. So we have Andrea Burnett in the place to be as well. So this is something that they must do. They must process the asylum request. Then they can say, okay, we accept your asylum request or we reject your asylum request. They may give them a temporary protection, and that's it. So this is something that, a lot of countries do. It's nothing special. It's not just America. Other countries do it as well. But it's a bit strange to me when I hear that, because when we were taken from Africa and brought to the Americas and the West Indies, then in a sense, maybe people will not like the term migrants because it was slavery, it was different. You know, the political situation was different. But um, I remember when I was in England, and there was this person who is from India. I mean, I don't know if he's still alive because he was advanced in age. And we talked and all that. You know, he told me about how it was before. You know, there was less racism before and all that. And then he said, well, you know, back in the day it was good, but today too many foreigners. And I was like, okay, you know. But anyway, let's continue. Now, I'm not planning on being long, and you can tell from the tone that I'm not planning on going off on Willie D. You know, he has his stance. It is what it is. Just want to comment. I think I'm allowed to do that.
We got homeless people living out on the streets, setting up shop in front of shops in every major city in America. Homeless people all under the bridges.
And we have Imhotep University TV in the place to be. Now, you heard what he said. This is not just in America. This happens in so many countries around the world, you know. Let's continue.
They got tents in front of office buildings downtown. America is a mess.
So apparently it bothers Willie D that they have tents, you know, in front of office buildings. Okay, America is a mess. I'm just repeating what he said. It's not my stance, it's not my statement.
America is a mess. Why not take that money and use it to benefit the people in your own country first?
So like it was stated earlier, for those who just arrived and those who don't know, money is being spent in order to take care of foreigners, because, you know, that goes without saying, but let's specify. If a migrant, somebody comes into one of those countries that are part of the United Nations, who have signed those treaties, those agreements, they're supposed to process the asylum request. Now, usually, when people seek asylum in the country, the person is not allowed to work. There may be exceptions. So because the person or the family is not allowed to work, then you need to take care of them. So money will be spent so they can eat. And also usually they will have some sort of accommodation, even though sometimes the women and children are prioritized and the males end up in the street, you see. So it depends on the availability of accommodation. You're not just going to have people coming in your country and seek asylum because they claim that they are being persecuted about the economic situation, or it may even be, well, anyway, the economic situation is just not good enough for people to have a decent living. You're not going to say, okay, I'm going to process your asylum. In the meantime, you're not allowed to work, and you just, you know, hang in the street, and that's it, you know. So further than that, people may have medical situations, and in America, it's a lot different, you know. But in European countries, people will have access to health free of charge. Now, there was a right-wing lady, Le Pen, who ran for, she's been running to be the president of France. She had a debate on TV with somebody called Mélenchon. And she wanted to get rid of that card that allows foreigners to get free health care. And he replied to her that if we would do that, then all those foreigners or migrants that have some issues, it will be a catastrophe, because some of them will not be healed, and we may end up with some pandemics. You know what I'm saying? Because some people don't think about that. You don't only heal those people. They come in here, they may have some disease. You know, it's best to treat it. Otherwise, everybody will get it. And when I say everybody, it doesn't mean each and every person, but, you know, it's going to be quite some disaster. So anyway, that was just for the record. Let's just continue.
America reminds me of an employed housekeeper who has a dirty house. All of these homeless people in New York City.
Now, he's from Texas, by the way, you know, but he's very worried about what's going on in New York City. But that's fine. He has a right to. I think it's really a talking point, you know. His real issue is really with migrants, you know. But anyway.
And they bring in Venezuelans and set them up shop in the fanciest hotels in New York, right in.
I don't know if they put them in the fanciest hotels, but wherever there was room, they will put them there. Now, in Venezuela, for those who don't know, the situation is real chaotic. Real chaotic. There may be worse situations, because it's not a country that is at war, but let's continue. And really, you see, this video is 6 minutes and 39 seconds long. I'm only playing all of it so that nobody will say, "Oh, you took it out of context." You know what I'm saying? So let's continue.
The middle of Manhattan, while U.S. citizens are out on the street begging for money, they putting money in these migrants' pockets and giving them cell phones. Come on, fam.
Do you remember Hurricane Katrina when some people used the term refugees? Jay-Z, who is a rapper just like Willie D, made a song about this. They called you refugee because you seek refuge. Now, just imagine something happens. It may be a pandemic, it may be a war in America, and people flee. Just like I have documented, and I'm going to share the link again, for those FBA people, Tariq Nasheed and them. Did I put it on that one? Probably on the other channel. Let me see. Yeah, it's on that one. Great. That was 4 weeks ago, a month ago. Black Americans fled to Haiti. They fled to Haiti. And when I say they fled, I'm not saying that as a negative, like they were cowards, contrary to what Tariq Nasheed has been saying for years about the migrants that he nicknamed feathers, But here you have the link there where it is documented. Some Black Americans fled America and went to Haiti. Now imagine they go to Haiti and then Haitians be like, "Oh, it's Black Americans ain't coming here. No, it's unacceptable." You know what I'm saying? The country is a mess. You know what I'm saying? Why don't they take care of us? Come on, But hey, to each his own.
So why would they do that? Why would they do it? Besides the fact that they're uncivilized much, fam,
that part I kind of missed because I was driving. He said uncivilized mutt, fam.
Besides the fact that they're uncivilized much, fam.
Uncivilized mutt. I don't know what mutt means, but
they do it.
I'm not sure what it means here, so I'm gonna leave that alone.
Besides the fact that they're uncivilized much, fam, I do know this. I do know that it's some type of political ploy because it's always has something to do with the money. It's always about the money, fam. Believe that.
Yes, money is involved indeed. There's another flip side of the coin. In so many countries, Western powers have some interest. You see, I'm sure you've heard that some components required for our smartphones and computers are found outside of the US. So as those Western powers have the benefit of having access to these natural resources at a very reliable price, don't be surprised if they have some student exchange program, if they have some diplomacy agreement, some diplomacy relationships. So some people will indeed ask for a visa, apply for a visa so they can travel to such and such country, because if it comes to the point where they're taking all these components needed for these things that we use on a regular basis in the West and also outside of the world, not just in the West, but and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, but none of you can come to my country. My country is overcrowded. You know what I'm saying? It's a mess. We have people with tents in front of offices." They may be like, "Oh, for real? Oh, well, you ain't taking none of, we ain't selling you no more." You see? Willie D would not be able to do this live stream that he has done. Well, this is not a live stream. This is a video that he uploaded. It's a pre-recorded video, but he also goes live on a regular basis as well. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have Mrs. Serendipity. I don't know what that means. The difference between the migrants coming in and those who suffered through Hurricane Katrina is they were called refugees despite being American citizens who pay taxes. I don't have any disagreement with that statement. You know, I don't consider them to be refugees. It was wrong for them to be labeled refugees, just like it was wrong when we see the picture of some black people who had food, and the caption said that they stole the food, and then we had the white family with food, and they said they found food. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if there was any misunderstanding, but just for the record, it's not my stance that they were refugees. You know, I just want to make that clear. You see, and welcome to you, Mrs. Serendipity. Andrew Burnett wrote, "A mutt is a stupid or insignificant person or a mongrel dog." Well, maybe I misheard, but it sounded like Willie D said, despite the fact that they are uncivilized mutts. But maybe I misheard, you know. Maybe I misheard, because English is not my mother tongue. You know, I consider myself fluent in English, but maybe I misheard. So let's continue here.
It's about the money.
Oh, well, I gave the example of some components used for smartphones and computers. We also have the oil. There's a lot of oil in America. They have a very large reserve, particularly in Texas, where Willie D is from. But they like to, you know, have a nice backup reserve, so they will, you know, take from other parts of the world. So whenever there's some situation, whatever in Saudi Arabia, for whatever reason, they decide that the price will go up, then we feel it around the world. You know what I'm saying? If Saudi Arabia, if the king or the leader, the prince here, you know, get off the wrong foot tomorrow or tonight, and he says, you know what, man, you know, you ban. USA, you're banned. I'm USA, you're on timeout. Europe, you're on timeout. I'm saying to everybody else but you too, because I don't like your behavior. You know, I think you are indignant countries, indignant continents. Then my goodness, the whole world will feel it. The prices will go up like crazy. But that's just an example. You know, let's continue.
And as far as in control, as far as American citizens are concerned, they really don't care about American citizens. I mean, all of you. That's right. They don't care about you. I don't care what.
So, okay. You're told that, you know, they don't care about you. Fine. Okay. What you going to do about it?
It looks like, what it sounds like. They don't care about you. If they cared about you, they would.
Mind you, whenever you hear they, beware. And I'm not saying this because it's Willie D saying it. Many people say that. They say, oh, the enemy, this, that. If it's not people that you can identify, it's very loose. It's not precise. It's not detailed. You know, and everybody can say that. You know, they are to get us. They want us to die. They want to blow. Okay, let's continue.
Wouldn't allow these companies to put chemicals in our food.
Now, is this illegal? Do we have companies putting chemicals in food illegally? Is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, on some conspiracy to allow companies to poison people? I'm just asking a question, you know. I'm not making any accusation.
They would not allow them to put chemicals in our water supply.
So is there anything illegal also that is put in the water supply? I'm just asking, just out of curiosity, you know. I heard about the fluoride, you know, but
they would not allow them to force feed us a vaccine that was unproven. Do you know how many people have died after taking that thing?
Well, he argues that many people died after taking the vaccine, but there's a huge coincidence. However, the vaccine was rushed. Yes, usually it takes a lot of time. Some people argue that it takes years to come up with a vaccine when it comes to a particular ailment or disease or sickness, call it however you want, fine. But there was a worldwide pandemic and people were dropping like flies. So whoever didn't want to take the vaccine did not take the vaccine and will never take the vaccine. I'm like, hey, fine, more power to you. What I lamented from early on is the behavior of insulting people who chose to take the vaccine. Just like people have the right to take it, some people have the right. Some people have the right to refuse to take it. Some people have the right to take it. You know, and many people who were anti-vax, they were very virulent. I don't even know if you use that word in English. Something fell over there. Let me see. Hold on. Yes, you do use it in English as well. So the coincidence is that when that vaccine was made available to the public, all of a sudden, the rate of death reduced. What a coincidence. So some people argue that many people died or had some side effects. Well, side effects, you can just take any medicine from the chemist, from the pharmacy, or the drugstore, right? And have side effects, right? But maybe it's just a coincidence that when the vaccine was made available worldwide, then the death tolls just reduced. Now, here we have a comment that says, yes, they are poisoning us and they make it legal to do so. What are they poisoning us with? Can you tell me? Arsenic? What is it that they are poisoning us with? Because they eat the same food. And who's they? Who's they? Is it the super elite Freemasons and Skulls and Bones, and they have their private grocery stores. They have their private supermarket where they have food and water that has not been tampered with. I'm just curious. I'm just asking. Now, let's continue.
And how many people to this day have side effects? And I'm talking about chronic side effects from taking that jab. But, when people like me were saying, no way, Jose, I ain't taking that thing. It's unproven. Y'all had every excuse. Anyway,
Now, to say it's unproven, we have medical doctors around the world, right, who have been given this vaccine, who have been taking these vaccines. The medical doctors are the experts when it comes to health, right? And they are all on some conspiracy. They are all on some conspiracy to willingly allow the public to take a vaccine that will do them wrong. I doubt that. That's me. Some people may call me naive and gullible. Andrea Burnett wrote, they didn't just label immigrants refugees during Hurricane Katrina. Anyone who was displaced, including U.S. citizens, were also labeled as refugees.
You eat this and you take this shot, you don't know what's in it. When you're drinking this, you don't know what's in it. There's every excuse in the world to take that shot. I knew it didn't make sense. For one, especially when they started talking about
So what I reacted over is the term unproven. Those medical doctors willingly gave some substances to people that is a substance that is unproven. To each his own,
Looking out for the Black community first. They was like, yeah, we're gonna help the poorest communities first, and we're gonna help those who are most vulnerable in our society. And here we go again. All of the dummies like, yeah, America.
Now he mentioned the Black community. You would think that maybe he's trying to go there and act like Black people died of COVID more. We've seen what happened in Africa. Damn, how come? How come? They're saying, how come so much people are like, damn, it's like they don't feel right about this. But some people say that's Africa, But anyway, it's good to have dialogue. We'll never agree on everything on this planet Earth. So let's dialogue and see what the arguments are and see what the positions are.
Let me reiterate to you once again, there's never been a time in American history where America was experiencing a crisis.
Mrs. Serendipity wrote, I was personally poisoned by our U.S. government as a veteran. It is just coming out that we were experimented on during the Gulf War era. Sarin nerve gas was put in our vaccines. Sarin nerve gas. Okay. Is there any link that you can give to us? or is this some classified information? Sarin nerve gas. So, Center for Disease Control and Prevention.gov. Okay, so it's not very detailed here. Now we have sarin, which looks like it is. Dang. For all purposes, this is a Wikipedia article about sarin. We might as well have a look together. Sarin, NATO designation GB, short for G series, is an extremely toxic synthetic organophosphorus compound, a colorless, odorless liquid. It is used as a chemical weapon due to extreme potency as a nerve agent. Exposure it is lethal even at very low concentrations, where death can occur within 1 to 10 minutes after direct inhalation of lethal dose due to suffocation from respiratory paralysis unless antidotes are quickly administered. People who absorb a non-lethal dose do not receive immediate medical treatment may suffer permanent neurological damage. Sarin is widely considered a weapon of mass destruction. Production and stockpiling of sarin was outlawed as of April 1997 by the Chemical Weapons Convention of 1993. It is classified as a Schedule 1 substance. All right. Now, is history used as a weapon? So, in 1939, the German Army Weapons Office has something to do with it. I'm not going to read that whole article. But anyway, I had a quick look. So if they try to poison veterans, then they did a horrible job because that stuff is extremely toxic, you know. But there's another comment. I am curious now who you work for. Did the government set you up to say these things against Americans? There it is. You see, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. You see? Oh my goodness. But you know what I'm gonna do? Here's the link you can get on the panel. But I really don't have time for foolish stuff like that. Let me block that person. It doesn't take long. You don't agree, you have to work for somebody and you have to be against Americans. So now that same government that you said here poisoned you, now you're accusing me, right, of going against Americans. That government is Americans, a group of Americans. So you have to choose. You with them or against them. Now, your xenophobia makes you become with them all of a sudden. But anyway, what did I say against Americans? I didn't even block that person yet. Never takes long, man. Never takes long. Why don't you say it straight away? Why don't you try to corner me? Why do you try to corner me? Try to say something slick. And then when you don't know how to answer, then you go, oh, I wonder who sent you. But it's life. It comes with the territory, man. It comes with the territory. Comes with the territory. All right, let's continue. Let's go back to Willie D. Andrea Burnett wrote, the refugee label was changed when people objected to it. And it's understandable. Let's go back to Willie D. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, that person was personally poisoned by the US government as a veteran. They were experimented on with the sarin nerve gas that was put in their vaccine. Okay. And notice I asked, is there a link you can share? Nothing to back it up? Well, who you work for. I wonder who you work for. Well, when I'm live streaming, I don't work for anybody. I have an occupation for a living. I do work, the quote unquote 9 to 5, even if it's not exactly 9 to 5. I'm totally independent. Totally independent. And it's been like that for years. I'm not financed. I'm not funded. My goodness. It is what it is, man. Okay, where was it? There. Let's continue. No, it's not that one. No one. It is. There it is.
And black people were amongst the first to benefit from relief. That has never happened, ever, ever, ever. And it ain't going to happen in our lifetime. These people cannot be trusted. I was checking out.
Oh, it looks like our brother Imhotep 360 degrees. Is this your brother?
Yeah, that's me, Shaka. How you doing, bro?
Hey, how you doing, brother? I forgot to say, whoever wants to get on the panel, the requirement is that you show your face. Now, we know the brother, he uses webcam many times, but anybody that's new, you have to use your webcam. How you doing, brother? Feel free to speak, brother. Peace, Hotep.
Hey, Hotep, bro, Shaka. I've been observing, the space, see what's going on, and I've been observing the xenophobia as well. And as a Jamaican, someone who was born in Jamaica, and just to see the type of xenophobia that is being meted out to, people of quote unquote color, it's baffling to me. Because at the end of the day, we have to go back to, the time of Pan-Africanism, right? Like early 1900s. There was a lot of talk about, the African unity, right?
The early stage.
That's right. But every stage, there were always co-intel pro-operatives at every stage, right? Because even when Marcus Garvey, was getting extremely popular in the United States, they used xenophobia against Marcus Garvey. Like people like W.E.D. Du Bois, they were xenophobic towards Marcus Garvey because they were like, oh, you just a little ordinary Negro, you're a nobody. And we see it every stage up to now. Based on that Willie D video, it is still xenophobia about other people.
He took issues at the Akon saying that Africans dance better. Like,
That doesn't make any sense, though. That doesn't make any sense for him to make an issue out of something that trivial. But the unfortunate thing about people like him, they have not studied, neo-imperialism. They have not studied imperialism. They have not studied colonialism. They have not studied neoliberalism. They know nothing about the Monroe Doctrine and how it operates, how it dictates, American foreign policy in the Western Hemisphere and to the larger extent all over the world. They don't know nothing about manifest destiny. Like those are policies that, it's interconnected with the way how the system works. So they will just talk. You're not looking at the cause. Why are these migrants coming and flooding into the US? Look at the countries where they're coming from. Know their history. Oh, they're coming from Venezuela? Okay, what did they do to Venezuela? 10 years ago, you didn't have so much Venezuelans rushing to America. That's a fact. So you have to look at the cause and the effect. Places like Nicaragua, places like Bolivia, you have to look at the cause and the effect. You look at the African continent, you have to look at places like the Congo and see what's going on down there with all the minerals that they're fighting for. The richest place in the world, the Congo, has over 123 different rebel groups fighting down there up to today.
Yeah.
And all the cobalt is leaving because these corporations don't care about what's going on down there. And these countries don't care. As long as that cobalt gets out, they're good.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
To run them phones and them, iPhones and laptops, whatever. And yes, they can sell us these iPhones for $1,500 US, $1,200 US, and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the reality. So when I see people like him speak, I know it's based on a place from ignorance and xenophobia. If you look at a place like Haiti, what happened when they invaded? 1914 there and about, 1915 there and about,
1919 or
right?
Something like that. Yes.
Look what they did to Haiti. So now the Haitians are trying to find a sanctuary. you're making it an issue to say these people, should not be coming over here. They should go back and stuff like that, not looking at the cause and the effect scenarios.
And brother, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll have to try to find the actual quote, but it was said that when the Haitians gained independence and put an end to slavery in 1804, they did before, but Napoleon
Right.
reinstalled slavery. It was
Right.
abolished first. I think in 1789 or something like that. But don't quote me about the date. But
Right. Their new constitution, they made it clear that slavery was officially abolished. Any black person anywhere in the Western Hemisphere that fled to Haiti, right, from slavery automatically became a free man.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I was
Right. So they did that.
Yeah,
They did that for real.
anybody that set foot in that's what was reported.
Right.
Anybody that set foot, can you imagine if they were like, oh no, we want Haitians only, you know what I'm saying? We have our troubles, you know what I'm saying? But here, let me just read this here. Courage to Change wrote several times dismissed the fact that Mrs. Serendipity sent you a link of proof to back up the claims of the sarin nerve gas. Why? Did you see any link, Courage to Change? Because I didn't see any link. Like, for the record, people who are not, I don't have any moderators, so I'm the only one who can share a link. You see, so feel free to get on the panel. Now, I don't mind if people disagree with me. Trust me, but don't accuse me of dismissing any fact that nobody has seen. It's not possible for anybody to see any link that she posted because she did not. Check this out. Maybe it is you, and that's fine. For those who don't know, and you can do the test with another phone, like a smartphone. If you're on your computer, use a smartphone, but make sure you're not logged in with the same username. You will see the link that you posted, you see, but nobody else will see it.
That's right. You can't.
So just for the record, you know what I'm saying? Just for the record. So, it's all good. What I just didn't like is the accusation of me working for like, I've heard that before. Some people say I work for the Mossad, but this Asiatic black man, you know what I'm saying? If you don't agree with them, then you have to be a Zionist, you know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
So question though, Shaka. Based on what you said a while ago, how did Courage to Change or whatever see the link to even be commenting on it?
That's why I said it's probably her. It's probably the Mrs.
Exactly.
Serendipity.
So that's how sometimes Shaka, and that's always the thing with me, right? I study a lot of American history, Caribbean history, African history, world history, all of that. But I do not speak much about American history and politics, right? Or geopolitics, because too many people are suspect in the way they act. Like you should be free to hit a link and come on the panel and express yourself. It's an open forum. But when you're sitting in the chat and you're accusing someone of being, this and that, but you're acting in the same way, that's just the reality.
It's all good. It's all good, bro.
It's just crazy because if you even look at what's going on in Africa, right? In Africa, most African Americans know nothing about the African continent. Nothing whatsoever. They don't care, and they don't care to know. So when you see Africans fleeing to go to Europe or fleeing and trying to come to America because of the neoliberalism that has been applied to these countries to destroy their industries, to rape their resources and leave the people in poverty and fighting, you don't understand the cause and the effect of what's going on around you. There's so many places. You look at the African continent, North Africa, they are way better off. Like the colonial masters, they don't really trouble them a lot in the North Africa region there. Places like Algeria, Morocco, Tunisia,
right. You see what happened in Tunisia?
Places like Egypt. Huh?
You see what they're doing?
But that's a minor thing in terms of, I'm talking about the geopolitical chess game. North Africa is more protected because one, North Africa is always also a gateway to Europe. So if there's chaos in these countries, then the immigration situation escalates.
But they have that Muslim unity, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They want partners to fight against, like the war on terror, those jihadists or extremists and stuff like that, because they're here. Mali not too long ago asked France to intervene, because like maybe I don't know 50 or 250. Well, man, I don't know. I don't mean to be horrible, no, but it's like 50 people with AK-47, but just took over the country. You know what I'm saying? So of course it's not the exact number, but I'm just saying it wasn't that many people who came with some rusty AKs and they took over the land, and France had to come to the rescue, just like France rescued Mecca. Mecca was taken over by some people. One guy who claiming to be some sort of Mahdi or some sort. You know what I'm saying? So they got those French soldiers. They did convert, because it's supposed to be for Muslim only. They did convert quickly. And then they went there and put in work. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that being said, let me finish with that Willie D video, and then everybody's welcome. For those who don't know, this link here that you see right there, that's the last post in the chat. It's a link to get on the panel, so everybody's welcome. I really don't mind. We have the right to disagree. You know what I'm saying? We just have to keep it respectful. It's all good. But I would avoid accusations if you don't even have anything to if you don't have even any hint, But you can ask questions though, even if whether you know me or not, you can ask questions, But where was the Willie D stuff? There it is.
Phil Scott's Instagram, and he was talking about these migrants out in New York, how they got into an argument with a black man who was out on the street begging, and they were hurling insults at this man. These motherfuckers come to our country.
So I remember when Tommy Sotomayor used to criticize black folks, particularly black women. And if you see people do wrong and you want to criticize it, I don't have a problem with that. What I found strange is that he will focus on black women. Now, when I hear Willie D here, I'm like, okay, if those guys did wrong, well, it is what it is. But when they are particularly labeled migrants, what happens when people who are not migrants do the same thing or worse? Will he talk about it, or will he only talk about what migrants did? You see, that's my thing. Now, them having the status of migrants, if we have two versions. Like, let's say it's not, I don't know if that homeless guy situation is on tape. We have a thumbnail, so maybe it is. But let's say you have a migrant that has a situation with a non-migrant, a U.S. citizen. Are you going to prioritize the word of the U.S. citizen over the migrant if you have no other thing than their own words? So now they're no longer human beings, they are migrants. That's where I think it's a bit different, and I'm being diplomatic. Because once again, if it's not migrants, if it's non-migrants that do something, will Willie D talk about it? Will he talk about it? Let's continue.
They visitors. They come over here acting a damn fool. And, clowning this man, trying to jump him. They're visitors.
And once again, if they did that homeless person wrong, and that's messed up, that's wrong. I don't have a problem with pointing the wrong. But when people will point the wrong only in a particular group of people, then we could say, hey, they have an agenda. Now, what is their agenda? You see what I'm saying? But then he's going to say something else.
Nowhere else in the world can you go to somebody else's country and behave like an uncivilized mutt and treat their citizens bad. I don't care if the citizens are homeless.
And that's where he is absolutely wrong. Let me take that back because, I did pause it.
They're visitors. Nowhere else in the world can you go to somebody else's country and behave like an uncivilized mutt and treat their citizens bad. I don't care if the citizens are homeless.
Why am I saying that he is absolutely wrong? You ever heard of the United States Army? You haven't heard when they went to Afghanistan, to Iraq? We have people who made testimonials about how they tortured people cut ears. I think John Kerry made the testimonial when he was running for president to have some veterans who came up with an ad, and they were saying like they are not into a particular group, but he testified or he snitched, as some people would say, about people torturing. We have reports of girls being raped by U.S. soldiers.
Right.
Then
But
they
Shaka,
burned the place. Yes, go ahead, brother.
Shaka, sorry to cut you, but in Iraq, there was the Abu Ghraib incident, and that created a national firestorm where there were congressional hearings about Abu Ghraib. Guantanamo became a big issue where they were just kidnapping people all over the place and taking them to secret sites all over the world and then taking them to Guantanamo. That was a bombshell too. So I don't understand if he is totally disconnected from reality and just speaking from his emotions.
The thing is that he has a stance. So in order to what's the word I'm looking for? Let's say in order to argue for his stance, then he makes talking points. You see,
right?
But man, when we see U.S. soldiers going to so many countries,
right,
and kill people, rape people, steal from people, will he be like, "Oh, that's messed up"? Yeah, to validate. Thank you, Love Me Fro. He's
do we need to mention? Do we need to mention Vietnam and the My Lai massacre that they exposed in the media? That was a national firestorm as well.
I mean,
right? Do we need to mention Agent Orange in Vietnam? That became a national firestorm that created a congressional hearing as well. Like, are these people like what? And he's older than me.
But there's that he see, like Love Me For wrote, he wants to validate his stance, so he's making talking points. But the thing is, I doubt that if we have another scandal of U.S. soldiers in somewhere overseas, killing innocent people, raping, that he's going to be like, "Oh, that's messed up. You cannot go into another country and treat people like they are mutts." You know what I'm saying? Whether they're civilians, I don't think, but I wanted to say that for the record. Love Me For will be right back.
I don't care if they don't have two pennies to rub together. They will put a foot in your behind. But not America. Not New York. Not that old bootleg ass mayor they got.
Oh, he doesn't like the mayor of New York.
That's right. That's right. Now you see the agenda.
And he's a bootleg, apparently. Okay.
That's right. I said it. He is amongst the worst. Drop a comment, fam. Let me know what you think about this. No more talk.
So there it is. That's what I wanted to comment on. You know what I'm saying? People did put a foot in America, in America's army's buttocks when they were in Afghanistan. Aren't they still in Iraq today?
They still have bases in Iraq. They have bases in Syria. They have bases in Jordan. They have bases in Saudi Arabia. They have bases in Kuwait. They have bases everywhere. They have over 800 bases worldwide.
There it is.
Listen, even in Niger right now, right? Just to keep things current with what's going on in Niger, because a lot of these African countries that were colonized by France, now they're striking back. You see Niger, you see Mali, you see Burkina Faso. You get what I'm saying?
They are scared.
No, right. So they are scared because France is manipulating these countries. One,
of course,
their international reserve has to be the franc. Their gold reserve are in French banks and all that stuff, right? They are using French currency. The national language is French and all that garbage. So France control these countries, nonetheless. So they are striking back. Now, in Niger, the United States has not condemned the coup as yet.
Because it's not against them.
No,
so they're like,
they can't. Let me tell you why.
They can have more control now.
Their hands are tied behind their backs because they have a military base in Niger with like more than 1,000 troops there. You get what I'm saying? So if they were to condemn this coup, they would have to leave. It means that they do not recognize the government, and as such, that's a whole new ball game there too. So they are trying to play diplomatic and stuff like that. But the reality is, like, a lot of these African leaders, like the one that was deposed or whatever, a lot of these African leaders were just subservient to the neo-colonial, neo-imperial, neoliberalism system.
Yes. Yes, it's true.
As
Usually that's
long
what
as
it is.
as long as they are able to maintain power, right? Because let's talk about Burkina Faso, right? And what Thomas Sankara did and what he envisioned.
It was one
And
of the greatest.
it was the French, along with Blaise Compaoré, and as we now found out, there were other forces who sided with Blaise Compaoré. So I'm just saying, it's a whole different ball game when you understand the history of these places. And that was in 1975 there and about. And Thomas Sankara had that vision because guess who influenced him? Marcus Garvey. He was influenced by Marcus Garvey. He was influenced by the Pan-Africanist movement. Like the Booker T. Washingtons, the Benito Sylvain. He was a Haitian guy who was one of the founding fathers of Pan-Africanism. How many Black Americans speak about Benito Sylvain and what he did?
I don't even know that person. I thought you were talking about Antonio Firma, but
as a matter of fact, right? As a matter of fact, he represented Ethiopia in the Western world. He was a chief advisor to Menelik II of Ethiopia. So he was like an ambassador for Ethiopia in the Western Hemisphere. Benito Sylvain. Him and Booker T. Washington, they were at the first Pan-African Congress.
Oh, since you mentioned Pan-Africanism, have you seen that guy, Brandon from LA, Pan-Africanism Strikes Back, who was talking about benefits of slavery?
No, I haven't seen that at all. No, I haven't seen that at all.
Yeah,
because the benefits of slavery, that's crazy. That's crazy because but these people are the ones who are COINTELPRO operatives because they are going against what it should be. That's just the reality.
Oh, I was on mute. Here's the link. Oh, there's the B missing. Benefits of slavery. Pan-Africanism Strikes Back is not happy if you disagree. You know what I'm saying? He is arguing that, even though there was slavery, if the slave master taught you to read, then when you escape, and you have a map, then you know how to read. Okay, don't go to that place. And that was his argument. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, though.
You're gonna be enslaved. Your mother's gonna get raped. Your sister's gonna get raped. You know what I'm saying? Your father's gonna get killed. You're gonna get whipped. You're gonna be forced to work. But he taught you how to read.
Right. So
this dude, man.
Yeah. So pretty much, irrespective of all the human rights violations that took place during slavery, because he taught us to read through a Bible, because that was the first book that they gave us, right? So because of the religious indoctrination, we should say, okay, that's good enough. That doesn't make any sense at all. It's crazy.
What I didn't know, and people can vote for whoever they want. People have said that he's a Trump supporter. You know what I'm saying? So obviously he's a Republican, and people can choose. And I don't trip on people's political affiliation, but it seems like a lot of Republicans diminish, the severity of slavery. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And actually,
because
after that, he had I'm sorry, brother. He had another stream, and he was like, black people need to stop. And maybe the thumbnail is still there, so I can show it, and people can see that I'm not making it up. Like black people should stop talking about slavery. And he had a person's feet with on the one hand you have the damn, I forgot the word of that thing, the name of that thing. Let me just show it. Hold on. It must have been a video upload. Did you take it back? He may have changed the thumbnail. But he had, when you have the chain and you have that ball, iron ball.
Right.
On one feet it was racism, and on the other feet it was slavery. As if us talking about racism is holding us, is slowing us down, and us talking about slavery is holding us,
Right.
is slowing us down. But I think
So
he changed
so Shaka.
his stuff now.
So
Yeah,
so my question to that person would be: is slavery a part of our history?
it is.
Good.
And here
So
for the
so
record,
so
I'm sorry,
there
he
are
did
other
change his
people,
thumbnail. But he did
right?
change. Sorry, brother. He did change his thumbnail. People can see 11 days ago. That's recent. You see the title? It's time for black people to stop talking about slavery. Now,
Okay.
why it's time for black people to stop talking about? You know what I'm saying? So that's just for the record. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's good. So my
Oh,
question is,
oh, well,
i-
okay, yeah. Go ahead.
if it's a part of our history, right? If it's a part of our history, then why is it that everyone else are free to speak about their history? And if you dare question their history, you have to come out and apologize. But you have a problem with us talking about our history.
You know, hey, brother, it's good to know what people think.
Right.
I didn't think he had his, I didn't know he had that stance. Now I know, But we had the sister, what was her name? It was Courage to Change. She was there for a second and she
Right.
left, but I'll share the link if she wants to come back. We have Andrea Burnett. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Shaka and
Uh, I'm
Imhotep?
chilling. I'm
What's
chilling.
up, Sister Burnett?
How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Getting ready to go to the gym, but I got to babysit for a little bit, so I got to wait for a
Oh.
minute. Yeah. But I was just calling to agree with both of you guys. I think this conversation that Willie D and people like him have is just ridiculous, right? We know that people come into this country have to come, most people have to come in here in a particular way. Some people come in other ways, but most people have to come in here the right way. And the asylum seekers or whoever, and they need to stop this nonsense about who can come in here. Now, some of these people who come here that they seem like they just give a free ride to, they don't look like us. That's the ones I'd get upset, I get upset about, because the same criteria is not set for them that's set for everybody else. But still, nonetheless, people still have to get here a particular way. You just can't just come in here and just, run across and do a particular thing, because at the end of the day, they use everybody that comes across the border. They use all that free labor that they know they get from the humans who come from Mexico. They know they will put them and have them working either for free or for very, very, very low wages. So they can't say that they're not benefiting from those people who come across here, and they want to make it sound like it's just an onslaught. That's where the drugs are coming from. Even though they try to tell you need to look at all these ports of entry where drugs are coming from, they still don't care about all that. All they want to do is believe all that stuff is coming from the border. And then when other people try to come in, like Haitians and everybody else, they want to say, oh, no, you got to hurry up and run yourself back. So, our country, as good as it is, it's as bad as it is. So, we need to be quiet, because we don't corner the market. We want to have a military base in everybody else's country, but let somebody come over here and say, we want to put a base in your country. See what happens. We want to police everybody. We want to tell everybody what they should do. But then at the same time, we want to tell people you can't come here, even though we may go over there and decimate your country over some so-called war, some justification to go to war for no reason whatsoever. We have to believe in the weapons of mass destruction and all that stuff. That I had relatives going to those unsubstantiated wars. But then yet when we do all of that and people don't have a place to go, all of a sudden we want to cry foul. We need to sit down somewhere and stop playing. That's just my take on it.
All right, thank you, Sister Andrea. Well, Courage to Change, thank you for coming. Feel free to speak. If you have any questions or statement, feel free. Even if you disagree, it's fine.
I am Miss Serendipity as well as Courage to Change. I had no fear about coming on. I just wasn't in the position to come on. I missed a few things that you said, but I want to make sure I clarify everything that I'm saying. I want to make sure that you understand that when you say it is, how can we have a massive agenda against a population because of vaccines or whatever, that's a dangerous statement to make. I said, I actually am a military veteran. I just recently found out May last year that the reason why I have been personally suffering in my body, as well as 250,000 other troops from my era, from what we call Gulf War syndrome, is because our government purposely put sarin nerve gas in our anthrax vaccine, and they learned to dose it out in a way that it wouldn't hit for some of us immediately, for others of us 10 years later. It was very strategically done. And the population in which they did the experiments on not just sarin, there's many other things. They put bromide, all kinds of stuff in there. The Marine women got MS. The Army, Air Force women, we got fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, all these other symptoms that we've been dealing with. Some of us died immediately. I'm the last person standing from my office, the last person standing. When you say, statements like, they wouldn't do this, wouldn't that? What about the Tuskegee experiment? All the various experiments that's been done on us. I was your guinea pig for 2020 because they wanted to see how. They don't want everybody to drop at one time. They want you to little doses at a time. So they learn how to microdose us to the point where, they won't get sick right away. Some of them will, some of them die immediately. So my supervisor, they all died of cancer and all these other various diseases immediately. For people like me, we're struggling. I literally went from being completely bedridden to on a walker to on a cane to trying to figure out how to get this stuff out of my system so that I can continue to live and tell the story. So it's dangerous to say, they wouldn't do this to vaccines. No, they will. And if you need further proof, go to military.com, www. That's the link I was posting, www.military.com, May 27th edition. Also, look up Eustace Mullins. He is telling us exactly the strategy that they're using to depopulate us. Also, look up the Kissinger report and read the depopulation plan. Also, look up Rockefeller medicine. I got stuff for days. You need links? I will give them to you. Okay, you need proof? I will give them to you. I will forward everything I got. And in that link of military.com, there are other links. So there's a whistleblower that tried to come out in 2013 to let us know what they were trying to do to us. And he got shut down. But there was a guy that was a Navy veteran. He ran for office back in the day, Ross Perot. I don't know if y'all remember Ross Perot, but he is the one that was able to he's a billionaire. So he was able to fuel the funding to get this man's voice heard. So finally, after 30 years of us struggling, it's just coming out. This is real stuff that's happening to depopulate and to make us sick and to control and corral us. And so I wanted to come on here because I wanted you to see my face. This is real. This is real. Mm-hmm. The other thing that you said.
Oh, well, if you don't mind, can I just respond and then we can?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and thank you. I'm sorry about what you're going through. I do not believe that the United States government will purposely try to eliminate their soldiers, the vets.
Of course, you wouldn't believe that, but I have enough proof to prove what I'm saying.
And you mentioned 250,000 people. Was there any class action lawsuit against the U.S. government about that?
You're talking about military veterans. There's a whole other. We don't.
Yeah, they're not allowed to sue or.
See, that's what I'm saying. There's so many intricacies of things that you don't understand, and you're shooting off at the mouth about something that even the xenophobia thing, there's intricacies inside of things that's not being understood by the person that's outside. Most Black people I know in America fought for the Haitians to come in when they were fighting. There were people. I'm in Texas, so there were people at the border here in Texas that was literally on horses and whips trying to fight the Haitians from coming in to America, but yet they would let all these brown people cross into, and people like me were out there fighting for them to come in. So the types of stuff that you're talking about with the xenophobia, this is when Willie D. I didn't see the whole thing except what you showed, but when he's talking about, you don't understand the intricacies that are going on within our community. It's not that we don't want to be a diaspora that's working together. We do. We want people to understand, but there are specific fights that's happening inside the system that the person that's not living inside, haven't been living inside the system for their whole life, probably would not understand. They probably would not understand how this government is working against Black people. They're strategically
quick
gerrymandering
question.
cities right now to try to get certain votes. So if you bring the people in that just cross the border that are brown people and use them against the Black people, you understand this is not a thing about Black immigrants. Not at all. But you guys are getting it mistaken.
Okay, go ahead, brother Imhotep, and then I would like to interject. Go ahead, brother.
Right. All right.
Imhotep.
So the sister mentioned that she found out a couple of years ago, about that that there were some medical experiments that took place on the veterans. Like, there has been a victim compensation fund for years, like over 10 years, right? They are saying that if you were a military vet or if you fought in the Gulf War, right? Yes, you are entitled to compensation, because she's right about the Gulf War syndrome, but it's not a couple years ago. It's been years, like over 10 years ago, they have acknowledged that the soldiers were exposed to chemical and biological agents, right? So I do understand where she's coming from. As it relates to the Haitians, they were predominantly coming in from Florida for years, 20, 30, 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Haitians were flooding into America from Florida because that's the nearest point. They will go to Cuba or the Bahamas and then head to America. That's the reason why in Bahamas there's a very huge Asian population, to the point where the government said once they land, they sending them back. So the couple of Haitians coming up from Panama into the US, that's just a dot in comparison to the amount of Haitians who are coming in from Florida, and they're turning them back. So the reality is the xenophobia towards the Haitians have been there for a very long time. That's the reason why even in Florida, they have a very large Asian population, because that's the transit point predominantly. But the xenophobia has always been there. It's not nothing new, but it is very prevalent right now. So they don't have much problems with the Hispanics like that. I'm talking about Black people in America. A lot of time they express xenophobia towards their own people.
Okay, feel free. She disagrees. Feel free.
Yeah, I absolutely positively disagree with that. We have never, as a unit, been against our people as refugees coming to this country. I'm talking about our people around the diaspora. What we have a problem with is when people from around the world come here and disrespect us or not understand our plight.
Well, nobody likes disrespect, so on that, I can't complain.
That's what we have a problem with. We don't have a problem with we don't have a problem with our brothers and sisters from around the diaspora being here and running here for like when we saw the whole earthquake going on in Haiti. I mean, we sent aid, we did everything we could to try to be of assistance. That's not us, baby. That's not us. And the fact that you are allowing people to manipulate the situation in the thought pattern that we have some type of xenophobia against our people coming into no, that's not about us. This is about a Black and a brown situation that the government is using against us.
Hold on, it's a strong accusation. You're saying that we're manipulating.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever. I don't know where you're getting this information from, but the
Willie D,
population of people that are Black people in America, that I've been here my whole life. I've traveled around the world. I've lived around the world, but I've been a citizen of the American population most of my life, and I know that we love our people around the diaspora.
Yeah, but it's not us. Not everybody does. You see, for example, we have a guy called Butler Reggie. He's known as Reginald Mabry on the House of Consciousness. He told a brother called Sekou, "You have no standing in our community. You're an outsider. You talk to your people. I talk to my people. You are nobody." And that's a guy who claims to be conscious and who claims to be a student of Dr. Ben,
And so he's not the only one. He's just one of many that we have seen, sister. We have seen Tariq Nasheed as well, right? We have seen many. So I understand that you might be speaking from your perspective, but the reality out there is that you have a lot of our quote unquote brothers and sisters who are xenophobic.
And also Willie D took offense at Akon saying that he feels Africans dance better. And if, let's say, Black Americans will say, well, we rap better than black people around the world. I don't think you have black people around the world say, oh, the nerve of them. You know what I'm saying? So, that being said, now you're saying that the vets are not allowed to sue the government, right? Fine, granted. So we have 200 feet. Now, I had to look actually at that Gulf War syndrome. It's not talking about soldiers being purposely contaminated, or injected, with different harmful substances, right? So how come is it that we don't have any news report about that?
No, but Shaka.
But I'm talking. Hold on. I'm talking about some credible website, not Alex Jones. Who said that the Sandy Hook stuff. There were some actors and stuff like that. I'm talking about reputable websites. We have journalists. You know what I'm saying? I never heard that before. I don't know everything.
Did I not just say that a whistleblower tried to come forward about what was happening in 2013?
Yeah, but that's not a reputable website, because there's so many whistleblowers.
That's a conspiracy, though.
Yeah, that's why it sounds like. Well, I don't know that person.
Military.com has a seat at the main think tank of America. So it is a very credible website, number one. Number two,
I'm talking, CNN, I'm saying NBC, Washington Post, mainstream
I
media.
didn't say mainstream. I said main think tank of America. That's the first thing. So there are insiders and military personnel that's reporting. Number two, if you really are disputing what's happening with biological warfare, do some research on World War I all the way up. You'll see that in every era, there was a depopulation agenda or some turning of event agenda. In World War I, they used smallpox. Vietnam era, you had Agent Orange. All of these things were being manipulated to figure out how to do what they're doing right now. This has been a plan over a long span of time. This is not something that just happened. But the information, if you really, really want it, is really right there in your face. I can send you links. I can send you books. I can send you everything that if you really want it, you can have it. I promise you.
Yeah, but sister, in World War I, right? There was use of chemical and biological weapons, but that was on a military, perspective. The war insides started using chemical weapons in the trenches. When we are talking about Agent Orange, that was only applicable to the Vietnam War because they used it on the Vietnam people. It was not used on nobody else. It was the chemical that they used to destroy crops and everything in the quote unquote pro-communist area of Vietnam. And it affected the people. They got cancer, whatever. We can also speak about the bikini experiment. The bikini experiment was actually done in the 1940s, right? In the Polynesian areas where they test hydrogen bombs and atomic weapons and stuff like that. And these people are sick and have cancer up to this day. So I'm saying Agent Orange was only applicable to Vietnam, that geographic area. That's where they used it.
So were you there? Time. Were you there? I have a father-in-law that's in a hospital right now who suffered cancer, who was there. I don't have speculation. I have firsthand experiences.
No, but sister, I'm saying it's applicable because he was in the military going into those places. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't used on the civilian population in the West, in America and stuff like that. It was used on the Vietnamese population, and then the soldiers had to go into these areas and expose themselves to the chemicals. As a result of that, that's why they're sick. I'm not disputing that. But I'm just saying it wasn't used to say, oh, contaminate people all over the world. During that time, it was just used in the Vietnam War. That's what I'm saying.
The same types of experiments that were done on us was done on his era. And what I'm saying is you guys are very short-sighted to think that it only happened in this little space of time. What I'm telling you is that there have been a depopulation plan for us from the First World War, or maybe beyond, all the way into what we're seeing happening today. That these things have been going on strategically over time. And my era is just one era. I'm not the sole person, but my era is just one era. So I can show you that there's, I actually have stuff from, go on the DOD website. Since you feel like military.com is not a valid one, you can literally go on the DOD website. Look it up.
But hold on. I have a question for you. Now you see, there's a person in the chat who seems to agree with you and who wrote, and I want to show the comment. There it is. Mainstream media is corrupt. Do you feel the same way? Do you feel like we don't hear about it because mainstream media is corrupt?
It's only one portion of a 5-tier process of taking us down in this way. The media does not work for the people. The media works for that entity that's doing what they're doing.
So the corporation.
Question. So who does the military work for and the DOD that you're referring us to?
It's the same.
Good.
Thing.
So then why would you refer us to them as sources, though?
I'm sorry?
I mean, why would you refer us to them as sources if they work for the same people as the mainstream media?
Well, when I gave you outside sources, you didn't accept them. So if you wanted the sources within that system, I gave you that too.
No, but no. What were the outside sources that you gave us? You gave
said
us
military.com wasn't a source. Huh? Military.com, Rockefeller Medicine.
No, hold on. So hold on. Is military.com privately operated?
I don't know whether it's private or not, but
that's important though. But that's important, right?
Just research it. You can do
no, but hold on. I'm saying that's important because we know how the system works. We know how it operates. We know the COINTELPRO operatives as well. We know many think tanks that are owned and operated by the government too. And they're given civilian identifications. We know that too, sister. So I would never go to military.com as no source at all.
Check this out. This is military.com for the record, right? Now, is that the website you wanted me to go to, sister?
Yes.
Okay. I put the link in the chat. Now, after all we heard, you have joined the military. Why would they encourage people to join the same military that purposely poison their soldier?
Right.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
So this is a website, and I asked you if it was definitely the one you wanted me to go to, military.com. And here we have join the military. Join the military home.
Right.
Joining the military can be an exciting, life-changing experience. There are lots of reasons young men and women across the United States show an interest in the armed forces. So you're telling us
they're just reporting. They basically just reporting like our
sister, they are but sister, the same thing you are telling us to say that, based on your narrative, no one should even go join. And you're referring to us as a source that is telling us to go and join.
Listen, that's the main source that I found out what happened to me. I don't know who owns military.com, but it showed me the link that I needed to do further research. And once I did further research, I found that what I was reading was true.
Now, can you please share the link in the private chat? Now, on the right, you have private chat, so I can put it on the screen. Do you see the private chat, sister?
I see the
on the right.
I do see the private chat.
Yeah, here the link will show, and I'll be able to. Actually, I can put it in the chat for everybody.
Look up the May 27th edition. I don't have that on hand right here.
Do you know the name of the article?
Let's see. Researchers think they found.
Hold on, please. Hold on. Researchers.
It says researchers think they found what caused Gulf War syndrome, something like that.
Gulf War syndrome.
It was last year, so I don't have it all up.
Okay, so there it is. That's the one. I'm going to share it in the chat.
Okay, please do.
Yes, of course.
Now, and then from that, click on all the links that's in there and keep doing. Just keep doing your research. Just keep follow the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but sister,
follow the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But you see,
Hold on, please, hold on, Emote, please hold that thought. Just I'm curious. Okay, so this is the article. I've shared it in the chat so everybody can see it after the live stream, right? Maybe
Right.
not immediately because it takes a little while for the chat to appear sometimes. All right. So researchers think they found the cause of Gulf War illness. So this is May 17, 2022, written by a lady called Patricia Kime. I'm not sure if you pronounce it Kime. So after nearly 30 years of trying to prove a theory that an environmental toxin was responsible for sickening roughly 250,000 U.S. troops who served in the 1990-91 Persian Gulf War, Dr. Robert Haley says new research confirms that sarin nerve gas caused Gulf War illness. Following the Gulf War, nearly 1/3 of all who deployed reported unexplained chronic symptoms such as rashes, fatigue, gastrointestinal and digestive issues, brain fog, neuropathy, and muscle and joint pain. Federal agencies spent years broadly dismissing the idea that troops may have been suffering from exposure to chemical agents, with many veterans experiencing symptoms sent to mental health providers. But a study published last week in the journal Environmental Health Perspectives used genetic research and survey data to determine that U.S. service members exposed to sarin were more likely to develop Gulf War illness, and those who were exposed and had a weaker variant of a gene that helps digest pesticides were 9 times more likely to have symptoms. Quite simply, our findings prove that Gulf War illness was caused by sarin, which was released when we bombed Iraqi chemical weapons storage and production facilities, said Haley, director of the Division of Epidemiology in the Internal Medicine Department at University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center. There are still more than 100,000 Gulf War veterans who are not getting help for this illness, and our hope is that these findings will accelerate the search for better treatment, Haley said. It is a bit long.
But I encourage you to follow all the links in there and continue to research. Go down the
yes,
rabbit hole.
yes, but I think, with all fairness, you would agree that so far it doesn't talk about the U.S. government personally contaminating their soldiers. It's talking just like the brother.
Never say, "Oh, we did this horrific thing to all of our people." No, who would do that? That doesn't make sense. Sometimes
hold on.
Using an analytical thought.
But hold on, please, if you don't mind. Now, when you said they, this website, is it the U.S. government who operates it? Is it the views and opinions of the U.S. government?
I'm sure it's controlled somewhat by somebody that's in there somewhere, but all I know is it was enough information for me to do further research.
So
okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Imhotep. Go ahead.
I have to live this every single day.
I'm asking.
I lost
sister,
all of my friends to this. Okay, so you're not
I'm saying,
talking to somebody
sister,
that didn't go through something.
Yeah, but sister,
we're not disputing that, sister. Go ahead, Imhotep.
Right, but sister, I'm just asking, like, do you really trust this site, and their credibility, though, to use them to formulate, your position?
That article was simply my confirmation of what I already knew.
Yeah, but the article said think. They didn't say prove, though.
It was my confirmation of what I already
I understand that, because your experience is your experience.
I have been through this. I walked through this. I have buried more people than you could ever care to think that I've had to bury because of this.
No, I understand
sister, we're not disputing that. You and other people went through things.
What we're saying is validating this website as the source, to formulate your position. That's just my bone of contention.
Other websites that led me to other books, that led me to other research, that led me. Like I said, if you really want to know, follow the links, do the research. It is all really out there.
But sister, we only have one lifetime. Some people said that we get disease because of chemtrails. Some people said that we have aliens, running around and, giving technology. And there were indeed chemicals, used in war, and some soldiers were exposed to it. But to say that the U.S. government willingly, contaminated.
Are you really, where are you from, sir? I'm sorry. I'm very new to your website. I mean, to your channel. I apologize. I remember
It's
once
okay.
upon a time you actually reached out to me on Facebook to take one of your classes for,
Okay.
so that's how I saw your name, but
Okay.
I'm not familiar with your channel. This
I
is
was born.
ever, so I
Yeah,
apologize.
but that's lovely. No, you don't have to apologize. I don't mind the question. I was born in France.
Okay.
From Haitian parents. My parents were born in Haiti.
Okay.
And I also lived in England for a few years, and now I'm living in France currently.
And you live in where?
In France.
Oh, okay.
In
okay.
France.
My apologies for not knowing the background.
No, it's okay. No problem. I don't. No offense taken.
I don't like when American Black people are shown in a negative light in the way that we have been. There's a specific level of frustration that we are dealing with that most people who are not in the belly of the beast can't even understand. And so this trust factor you have for the government, though all of those things that have betrayed us, that have hurt us, that has all of these things that we're dealing with, that's just one space of pain. My body is hurting from what the military did to me, not over there, not overseas, not because I didn't have to go to Iraq to get sick.
Yeah, I mean, hold on, sister. If you don't mind, so once again, I'm not disputing you having any illness or sickness, but your claim that the U.S. government did that on purpose, I'm not believing the U.S. government.
That we all had in common. See, I didn't go to the region. I wasn't around the bombing and all that stuff. I'm Air Force. I work headquarters, so therefore I didn't go to the region. But the one thing we all had in common, whether we went to the region or we didn't go to the region, is we all had to get that shot. Okay. We all had to get.
So at this point, it is a theory then, because Farrakhan didn't talk about it. I see you have an interview with Kaba Kamene. He didn't talk about it. All those African scholars, I mean, those Black American scholars, none of them spoke about it. So I didn't take offense when you laughed when I asked you about, suing, and also just like you, I don't like when Black Americans are portrayed in a negative light. And that's why for years, for example, I'm only going to play a 3-minute clip if I can explain that Black people are marked and disfigured. I'm just going to play it now.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair, because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you're so busy frying it. That's why you're so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, with I'm Black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other Black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. But they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of Black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today Black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. And this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion.
So the sister Courage to Change had to go. She left me some message in a private chat. I was very pleased to meet her. Now, on the flip side, I am aware, of course, of the Tuskegee experiment, and the syphilis.
Right.
And there's that book, Medical Apartheid, which I used to have in my recommended book list, but I took it off the website, And we have some eugenist people, who, for whatever reason, want a worldly population. That's a reality. I'm not denying that. But my thing is that I'm not convinced about the claim that was made. I'm not disputing any sickness, any exposure to chemicals or any harmful agents. But I would think that if the U.S. government would want to get rid of people, they may probably go after people that they would consider useless, you see, rather than contaminating the people who fought for them. You know what I'm saying? So who knows, maybe in 5 or 10 years or 5 months or 5 weeks or 5 days from now, there's going to be a reputable website that's going to show, oh yeah, actually the US government knew, not everybody, but some people in high positions knew, and on purpose they gave them those shots, or they exposed them willingly, knowing that they would die or knowing that they would get cancer. No, but I'm just not convinced. And I think it's good. So far, the conversation was respectful, and I wish it could be like that. Like I'm not convinced, but I appreciate the sister because she came in here, she was respectful, and it was a lovely conversation. But go ahead, Brother Imhotep.
Yes, I'm saying, Chaka, irrespective of who you are, whether black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. Hispanic, once you join the military, you are exposed to all these chemical, biological agents and stuff like that. Sometimes you are aware and sometimes you are not. And in most cases, it's after discharge or after you start feeling ill, and 10, 20 years down the line, you realize, hey, I have cancer because I was exposed to certain chemicals. I get that, and I would never dispute that. But what I am saying is that I am not going to be trusting no military site as a source to validate my argument, because we know that there is always an agenda down that road. There's always. So my position is, I'm sorry, Shaka, go ahead.
No, finish.
No, I'm saying my position is the reality exists that they all were exposed. Even 9/11 people were exposed to a lot of things, right? A lot of them are sick. There is lawyers are saying, please contact us if you were living in Manhattan or whatever at the time. You have a lot of lawyers saying, if you were an Iraq war veteran or a Gulf War veteran, contact us, blah, blah, blah. That's been going on for years. It's nothing new now. It's not 2-3 years ago. It's been going on for over 10 years now. So that does happen. I'm not disputing that. However, if we are going to be have that conviction that it's true, then our sources has to be reputable, in the sense that we can say, okay, these are reputable sources that we can say, yes, this is a primary source, or this is a source that is validated. I'm not saying that, oh, you're following the mainstream media. No, we are not that silly either. But all we are saying is that the source should be reputable to say, well, yes, there is objectivity to it. Not like a military.com site. I would never use that as a source at all. Knowing what happened, based on her position, knowing what happened to, people like her and other Gulf War veterans. I would never use no military source that is going to be telling me to, sign up. So it's like a recruiting website too.
Yeah, and the thing, see, for example, we have Edward Snowden. You see, now I think Assange, didn't he die?
No, he's in Balmarish prison in England. He's still there,
Oh,
and
I
he's
think,
supposed to be extradited to the US right
yeah,
now. They actually approved it, and he's still fighting it, but
I think
he's
there's
still
a
in prison.
yeah, I think there's a whistleblower that died not long ago. But Edward Snowden, he shared some very classified um,
Right,
information. You see,
right,
and
right,
a lot of reputable websites have talked about this. So it's
right,
not like nothing can be talked about because it's this huge conspiracy. The American
right,
government cannot control, the press around the world. It just doesn't happen. Otherwise, we would not have found out those pictures. Like the Abu Ghraib place in Iraq and
right,
the
right,
Guantanamo
right,
Bay and all those pictures
right,
where they have
right,
the soldiers. I mean, sorry, those detainees piled
right,
up. I'm saying the
right.
pictures them with the electrical shocks and the face cover and all that. We wouldn't have known about that. So that's the thing. Sometimes. Some people will say, okay, that's because of this. It was this plan and that plan. I heard about it, for example, the King Alfred plan or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm not convinced about that. But yes, there are eugenist people. So yeah, that's good convo. That's good convo.
No, of course there are eugenics. I mean, the Germans were when the Germans were in Namibia, because they control Namibia in Africa, right? Let's not forget that. The eugenics, the Germans who were like the king of eugenics were over in Namibia experimenting on our people. I get that. We're not going to dispute that at all. But right now, there are information that's out there that doesn't have to come from these conspiracy sites or nothing like that, or some sites that are pushing a particular agenda. Because we saw through WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, that's the guy that's locked up right now waiting his extradition, right? They revealed a lot too. When Snowden came out, he was telling the world that the amount of governments and European leaders that were their phones were hacked, they were being spied on, they didn't know what's going on, and it came out, and reputable sources, they showed it as well.
That's what's up. You wanna add on, Sandra?
No, so what I was going to say, I agree with her about us being put in a bad light. But at the end of the day, we are partly responsible for that. We put music out that puts us in a bad light. We have television shows that put us in a bad light. We have all these things that we go out here and we do to ourselves, but then we want to complain about the condition that we're in. Like I've said before, I don't listen to certain music. If I hear somebody calling a woman a bitch or a whore in the music, I won't listen to it. If I turn my television on and look at Empire and all that stuff that keep putting us in a bad light, I don't watch that. We have to be responsible for our behavior and try to correct the behaviors that we know how to correct. So that I agree with. On the other hand, there are people who are diagnosed with some of the things that she was saying that she had who were not in the military. So we have to look at all of these factors out there. Is it the food that we're eating? Is it the water that we're drinking? It could be any of those factors that cause any of us to be sick. And I'm not diminishing her plight with what happened with her in the military. My dad was in the military. My husband was in the military. 4 of my brothers were in the military. So I got family history. So I'm just saying that there's all these contributing factors because they don't know what causes fibromyalgia. They said it could be caused by anything. They don't know how to diagnose it because it mimics so many other different types of illnesses out there. So, I mean, it can come from, to me, it could be a plethora of anything that can cause multiple illnesses that we have, right? So we just, you have to do what you can, right? And if she has a means of going and getting it treated, she's in a better condition than a lot of people who don't have that ability to do so. The military will take care of her, right? A lot of people don't have that. They just have to suffer through with the pain because they, are having a hard time diagnosing all these conditions. So, like I said, my heart goes out to her and all of our veterans who have suffered from, just the mental anguish alone. To me, would do that, right? I had one brother who was in the Air Force and 3 brothers who were in the Army. 2 of my brothers were in the Gulf War. One of my brothers was in I can't remember the other war, but then he was there when the Pentagon was hit too. So I feel her. I understand. But at the end of the day, at least they are afforded the opportunities to go get help, where a lot of people don't have that. And like I said, my heart goes out to her, because I got that's just my immediate family. I'm not even talking about my nieces and nephews and uncles and aunties and anybody else that have been in the military. I'm just talking about my immediate family. So I'm just just want to make sure that we understand that all of these illnesses could come from anywhere, because there's so much out here. That's why people try to encourage you to eat right and try to drink, this, do the things that we know to do, because we don't know where. And even when you try to do all that, ain't nothing no guarantee, right? Nothing to guarantee. I mean, we all took vaccines back in the day. Hell, I don't know if that contributed anything that happened. You don't know, right? We don't know. I mean, it sounds good in theory that that people are saying we can narrow it down and we can do all this, but we really don't know where anything came from. I mean, when I was in school, we had I call it the gun, because the vaccine we got back in the day, it was through this thing looked like a gun right on your shoulder. You got that little mark left on your shoulder. I don't know if that caused anything. We had all kinds of stuff, MMR, MMR, all that kind of stuff. We had to take vaccines for all that.
Right.
We don't know. We don't know, right? It's we want to, for the lack of a better word, and I don't want to say it to sound demeaning to her or anything, because I'm not. We want to find the boogeyman, right? I'm not saying our government is great. I'm not. Don't by any stretch of the word. I'm not, co-signing our government, because our government is known to do all kinds of atrocities to human beings, and with sometimes with total disregard. So I'm not saying that, but I do believe that we also have to make sure, we have to look at everything. It is everything that can cause anything.
Right.
And
right,
so,
sister. And just to add to that, sorry to interrupt you. Like Black people, have been like the number one consumers of GMO food as well. So from a holistic perspective, right, we are not eating right from a very young age. So by the time we get into our 30s, we're sick. We're diabetic, and diabetes, hypertension, cancer, it's prevalent in us because we are eating a lot of GMO food, right? A lot of processed foods, right? A lot of liquor, a lot of drugs, a lot of pills are popping. It's inevitable we're going to be sick. So I do agree that there are, agendas against us and stuff like that, but there are also willful compliance based on our lifestyle that we choose.
Because I know like there are documentaries out there when it comes to Haiti and Africa, when it comes to them trying to depopulate. They don't want our people. They want our women to take birth control. Those nations are like, no, we don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, you don't want to stop having babies? We'll starve you to death then. They will do anything to reach their agenda. So we know that. We know our government is as good as it is, as bad as it is. It's both.
Right.
So so we have to understand all that. All these things are out there. We know that there's an agenda out there to rid this world of our melanated people. We know that. But to the extreme of the military and all that, that can happen anywhere. And that's what I want to say about that.
Right.
And what I encourage you to do, brothers and sisters, is to follow me on that next stream right here. It's entitled Judah Natsara dissed me for Sanetta, and now he is dissing Frankie. But I still have that live stream scheduled for 4 p.m. That I have shared in my timeline. So feel free to join me just right now, and then we can, deal with some different topic. But thank you, Sister Andrea Burnett, and thank you, brother.
No problem, brother Chocolate.
Yeah. Okay. So see you in. Well, actually, I'm going to start the stream before I end that one. Let me start it on the other page.
This was a great one.
Yeah, I liked it. It's a good convo, respectful convo.
Yeah, and thank you to the sister who came on board. I mean, hats to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here I'm starting the next one, and then there it is. So okay. So just once again, you have it in the chat here. See you soon.
Okay. All right.